So right now I have teach you how to use our PyHealth to transform from the raw data set into a structured data set, and then applying or define your own task function on top of it to get clean list of JSON-based samples like this. Or another way to go is for your own customized data. If you have a data set, you already know what task you wanted to do, and you already clean up the data. You know what is the X for machine learning model, what is the Y. You just create each samples as a JSON format like this, and then use our PyHealth wrappers to get a PyHealth data set samples data sets, which really make sure these two paths converge here, so that they will have the same like structure to input to downstream machine learning model. Right now, I will show you this path, how to wrap up your unprocessed data sets and then use it in our machine learning model. So I will open tutorial 1 again because that still belongs to the dataset part. Okay, here is how you're gonna do if you have your unprocessed dataset and you want to use our machine learning models. So this is really the pipeline. You have your own data, process it into this list of this structure, and then wrap it up to be our sample dataset structure. So this is an example. If you have like 2 samples, this is first sample, this is second sample, you specify clearly what are different attributes. So the patient ID and the hospital visit ID, and the rest of them are just, we just want to say that the inputs, we support these 5 types of input. We support a single vector. It can be some lab values or other flow-based values or integer values, and we support a list of clinical code. Here we show some examples of NDC code. We also support a list of vectors and a list of code and a list of vectors. So we believe they will kind of cover almost every cases in your application. And say like in this list of vectors examples, each of these vectors can be a vector representation for like for a event. That means the whole, like these two together might be a like the information for that visit. But each of the vectors can also be a visit, and then the whole things together will be the up to now sequential information, visit level sequential information. We don't really care in our pipeline. You just need to process a data set into this one of these 5 structures, and our models will take it as a kind of some data structure, and the model will design from a data-driven way to really find the correct mapping from the input feature to the labels that you just created. And yeah, so if you have the samples ready, just simply code this line of code, sample dataset, to wrap it up to be our sample dataset. And we provide some functions, such as if you already run this code, and then we provide input underscore info to tell you some information about your inputs, such as, okay, this attribute is this type and is like this dimension. If you have a visit, if you have a vector input, then we also we also output the length of the visit. So these information are actually used in the later on model initialization procedures. And we also tell you like the correspondence between the patient and the samples. For example, here, 2 samples belongs to the same patient because they have the same patient ID. So we give it to you, the patient to index mapping. And we also give you the visit to index mapping, tell you, okay, visit 0 is corresponding to the first sample, visit 1 is corresponding to the second sample. And every visit can have multiple samples, or every patient can have multiple samples. And then the same, you use dataset.samples and give us an ID. We show you one of the samples indexed by that input. So yeah, that's basically the wrapper. Okay, I will summarize what we have learned today. So in front of you, there are probably like two different types of data set you want to use. The first type of data set is open electronic health record data set or other types of data sets. And we already provide that API processing code for you. Just simply call it and give us the root tables that you want to process and any of the code mappings, if any, that you want in your machine learning task, and then do it. Then second step is to choose a healthcare task function or to define healthcare task function, use a set task like this to get the samples, and then run our splitting function. Or you can also split the samples by yourself. But here, because we ask you to input the patient ID and the visit ID here, so we'll provide our functions to split by patient, to split by visit into the training, validation, and test set, and then we wrap it up, use the torch.data loader to be a training loader, validation loader, and test loader. So they are the like the very simple format that you are familiar with. They are basically the torch data loaders. You can use it in your downstream machine learning models that you define by yourself, or you can also use our machine learning model. The second type is that you have your own customized data set. You really have to process that into some kind of X structure and Y structure, and then use our sample data set to wrap it up to be our internal data structure. And then the same, you can split data set into training, validation, and test, and then wrap it up to be a PyTorch data loader. And then starting from this point, these two pipelines is the same. You can use our machine learning models to handle them all. So in the end, I will still give you some resources related to our PyHealth. This is our PyHealth webpage, and this is our GitHub repos, and we have a contributing document there. And we really wanted to have some motivated people to join us to help us together build this package, make it more convenient for users to use. And we have uploaded our previous live videos to these YouTube channels, and we will also upload this video to the channel very soon. And if you want to get started with our package, just read this tutorial, just like what I shown you before, read it over, and you will quickly learn how to use it. And thank you very much.